Here is something that trips up almost everyone learning theory. There is not one minor scale tied to a major scale. There are two of them, and they are completely different, and people mix them up constantly. One of them shares the exact same notes as the major scale. The other one shares the same home note instead. Same notes, or same name, those are two different relationships, two different tools, and once you can tell them apart, the whole minor side of music gets a lot less confusing. The first is called the relative minor, and the second is called the parallel minor. By the end of this you will know exactly how to find each one, exactly how they differ, and exactly when you would reach for it. Let us start with the relative minor, the one that shares its notes, because it hides inside a scale you already know. Take C major, the friendliest scale on the keyboard, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, only the white keys, not a single black key in sight. The relative minor lies right inside this. To find it, you do not change a single note. You just count up to the sixth note of the scale and start there instead. 1 C, 2 D, 3 E, for F, 5 G, 6 the note A. That sixth note, A, becomes the new starting point. Walk the same white keys from there and you get a minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Look closely at what just happened. We pressed the exact same 7 keys. We did not add a sharp, we did not add a flat, we did not touch a black key. C major and a minor are built from one identical set of notes. That is what relative means here. The two scales are relatives because they share every note they have. The only thing we changed was which note we treat as home. So if the notes are identical, why do they sound so different? Play them and your ear will tell you straight away. Starting on C and ending on C, the scale sounds bright and settled, like daylight. Now move the home to A and play the very same keys, A up to A, and the color drops. It turns darker, heavier, a little sad, even though not one key changed. The notes did not move. Your sense of home moved, and the mood followed it. That is the whole magic of the relative minor, one collection of notes wearing two completely different faces, depending only on which note your ear is pulled back toward. This is also why a major key and its relative minor always share a key signature. Same notes means the same sharps and flats written at the front of the music, which is exactly why C major and a minor both have a clean signature with nothing in it. Hold on to that idea, because the second kind of minor works in the opposite direction entirely. Now meet the parallel minor, and here the trade is reversed. Instead of keeping the notes and moving home, we keep home and change the notes. C major and C minor both start on the same C. The home note never moves. What changes is the recipe. To turn C major into C minor, you flatten 3 of its notes, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. The 3rd, E, drops to E flat. The 6th, A, drops to A flat. The 7th, B, drops to B flat. Everything else stays put. So C minor reads C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. 3 notes pulled down by a half step each, and the bright scale turns shadowy. Compare that to what we did before. The relative minor kept every note and just moved the starting point. The parallel minor keeps the starting point and lowers 3 notes. Same home, new notes. That is the second relationship, and it is the one people most often confuse with the first. Let us put them side by side so the difference finally sticks, because this is the whole lesson in one picture. Start from C major. The relative minor of C major is a minor, same notes, new home. We kept all 7 notes and simply began on the 6th one. The parallel minor of C major is C minor, same home, new notes. We kept the home on C and flattened the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. Relative shares the notes. Parallel shares the name. One of them gives you a different doorway into the very same room. The other one keeps you in the same doorway but repaints the room. If you only remember one sentence from today, Make it this: relative means same notes, new home, and parallel means same home, new notes. Get that straight and you will never tangle the two again. So when would you actually reach for each one? These two minors are useful for genuinely different jobs. The relative minor is the one that explains key signatures. Because C major and a minor share every note, they share one signature, so a piece in A minor and a piece in C major look identical at the front of the page. That shared signature is how you spot a relative pair at a glance, and it is why every major key has a minor twin hiding in plain sight. The parallel minor does something else entirely. Because it keeps the same home note, you can slip between C major and C minor without ever leaving C. Composers use this constantly to borrow a darker chord, or to flip a sunny passage into a brooding one, all while the music still feels centered on the same note. A bright verse and a heavy chorus that both sit on C, that is the parallel minor at work. Relative minor explains the map. Parallel minor changes the weather without moving you off the spot. So here is how you find each one from any major scale, with no piano needed. For the relative minor, you have two quick routes to the same place. Either count up to the 6th degree of the major scale and start there, or, faster still, count down 3 semitones from the home note. From C, down 3 semitones lands you on A, and that is a minor every time. For the parallel minor, you do not move at all. You keep the home note exactly where it is, and you flatten the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. Keep the home, lower 3 notes, and the major turns parallel minor. 2 recipes, 2 different results. Down 3 semitones gives you the relative, the one that shares the notes. Lower the 3rd, 6th, and 7th gives you the parallel, the one that shares the home. So that is the pair, and the difference between them is the whole point. Same notes versus same name. The relative minor keeps the notes and moves the home, which is why a major key and its minor share a signature. The parallel minor keeps the home and lowers 3 notes, which is how you darken the mood without ever leaving the spot. 2 minors, 2 jobs, and now you can tell exactly which one a piece is using. Every scale we have met so far has fought hard over one question: which note gets to be home? Major picks one. Relative minor picks a different one. Parallel minor changes the notes to defend the same one. Next, we meet a scale that refuses to answer that question at all, that plays every key in order and gives no note the right to be home, the chromatic scale.